Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting storybooks for you. Today I'm reading chapter number 8, 3 Ponds. This is taken from the book The Day When I Stopped Drinking Milk, written by the great Sudha Murty. Now let's go through it. In the olden days, ponds were the only source of water in villages if there were no rivers nearby. Hence, the villagers look after their pond very well. They clean it every year and remove the silt. Each family sent one person to help clean the pond. Nobody was paid any money for this because the pond was an asset of the village. Every year, the villagers worship the water in the pond because they consider the water to be like the holy water of the Ganga. There are different types of ponds. Some are used for irrigation, some as a source of drinking water, and some are used for both. If the pond was very large and the other shore could not be seen, it was called as a Samudra or ocean. Hence, the names Shanti Samudra or Vyasa Samudra, among others. Usually, ponds are named after the person who built them, such as kings, queens, rich merchants, and powerful commanders. In my vast experience of traveling in India, I have found that every pond is sacred to its village and there is always a story behind the building of pond. Inevitably, the stories say that Ganga traveled below the earth and appeared in the pond so that people could have water. Ammani's condition. It was the time of East India Company and the British ruled our land. Ammani was an illiterate woman who lived near Kolar. She kept cows and buffaloes and her job was to deliver milk to the people living nearby. Kolar is a drought-prone area and she regularly saw people struggling to fetch water. Ammani always wanted to do something about this. One day she heard that a British camp was being set up near the village. The middleman, who knew both English and Kannada, came to the village in search of milk, curd, ghee, and butter to supply to the British soldiers in the camp. When the news spread, everybody told the middleman that they wanted to sell to the camp. But Ammani told the middleman, Ramappa, I will supply milk to the camp only on one condition. I don't want money. Ramappa was surprised. You mean you want to supply free to these Firangis, these white men? When did I say that? After all, I am a poor person. Please make good money now because you are selling in bulk. Make hay while the sun shines. This is a government office. You are guaranteed money, unlike with private parties. If you miss this, you won't get this opportunity again. Be wise, he advised her. Don't get me wrong. I want to sell, but I don't want money every month. It has to be kept with the British officer. You have also just said that they are reliable government people. You mean to say that you will collect the money only at the end? I don't understand this. But Ammani insisted that she would provide milk to the British only on this condition. So the Ramappa left and decided to talk to the British officers about this strange request. The next day, Ramappa told Officer George, there is a very strange woman in this village. She wants to supply milk, curd, and ghee, but she doesn't want to collect money. George was curious. Bring that woman here. I want to talk to her. The next day, Ammani went to meet the officer. In those days, Indians were scared of the Firangis. They were always worried that they might be punished without reason. Their color was different, their language was different, and India was a British colony. But Ammani went without fear. She did not know English, but she knew what she was going to say. When she reached the British camp and met George, she said, "Sir, I am ready to supply whatever you ask for. However, the money should be kept with you. I will take it later." The concept of the bank was not there at the time, so George thought that Ammani was scared of keeping the money at home. He asked, "Are you scared of the thieves or relatives who will come and take your money because you are all alone?" She smiled and said, "No, sir, that is not the reason." "Then what is it?" "I'll tell you later. I'm sure that you will respect that." Officer George liked Ammani and agreed to her request. Soon after, Ammani started supplying milk, curd, and ghee to the camp. The quality of her product was better than other people's, and she was very punctual. However, she became a laughing stock of her village because she chose not to take money from the British. Ammani continued to supply to the people living nearby in village and manage her monthly expenses even though she was not getting any money from the British camp. Years pass. Everyone in the camp knew Ammani for her honesty and the quality of her products. Over time, Ammani replaced many villagers who were supplying milk and other products. She became the single source of supply to the British camp. All the officers were friendly with her. One day, Officer George came to talk to Ammani. He said, "Ammani, you should take your money. It is now a huge amount and it is not fair on my part to keep it for such a long time. We might change camps within a year. We really respect your honesty and we should be honest with you too. Thank you, sir, for informing me in advance. Along with my money, I want help from you and your soldiers." "Oh, you want to build a big bungalow?" the officer joked. "No, sir, I want a pond." "What?" The officer was surprised. "Are you aware that it is not easy to construct a pond in this hard stone area? It requires a lot of manpower. The money itself is not sufficient." "Sir, I beg you. That is precisely the reason why I didn't take the money. If I had taken it, it would have spent it all by this time. Since I am a widow, my relatives would have forcibly taken it from me. Sir, you don't understand the difficulties of women in the hot summer. Please do this for me." George thought about it. It was a difficult job. He appreciated Ammani's honesty and her concern for people. So he said, "Let me talk to my boss and see if he can ask our soldiers to do this on a volunteer basis." In the end, kind-hearted George and the volunteer soldiers built the pond. The pond became the source of drinking water for the entire village. People did not have to go far to fetch water and anymore. And today the pond is still known as Ammani's Pond. Today India is independent and Ammani is no more. Still the pond stands witness to her gorgeous gift to the village. Do you like this story? In the next part, we will conclude a wedding gift story. Now, please subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.